the radio sounding voice, which you have right now.
Oh, it's to be fair, all of my family was in radio too, so I think that helps a little bit.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So they put you on the mic here and there when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah, man. I grew up in a radio booth for sure.
That must have been fun.
For sure. I grew up in a recording studio my whole life. My whole life.
Awesome, man. Well, we are here. I'm going to actually, people are coming in pretty quickly here. I'm going to start recording the video, and cool. By the time I do that, we will be ready to go.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, Whale Coin Talk community. Thank you for being with us today. We're at the top of the hour. We have Alexander here with EarthFund, and he's here to tell us more about the project. This is their second AMA with Whale Coin Talk. So without further ado, Alexander, for people that are hearing you for the first time, go ahead and give us a quick background of who you are, your experience in crypto, and what you've done up until this point.
Hey everyone, my name is Alex V. Thank you for the intro, sir. Like you said, this is our second. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. What was your name?
Noah.
Noah. Thank you, Noah. This is, like Noah said, this is our second AMA with Whale Coin Talk. Before the first time we came on, we actually weren't launched yet, and we launched exclusively on KuCoin, which was very exciting. Since then, we've launched on KuCoin, and now we're actually, I won't go too much into it, but my name's Alex V. I've been within the crypto space for a little bit over a year now. I've been community lead for another project, and now co-founding and community lead in communications for EarthFund. And we're building a decentralized autonomous organization, or we currently are a decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO. And we're building a DAO-controlled crowdfunding platform. Besides that, we also have made a staking protocol and a partner protocol. We're working on our bonding protocol. It should be coming out soon. And we also had our first vote as a DAO, and we have version 2 of our website coming out relatively soon. So it's a super high level rundown, and we're going to get a lot further into detail as the AMA goes on, I'm sure.
Certainly.
Could you let me write messages on the group so I could drop in some of the images I have?
Yeah, certainly. Let me ping one of my community managers.
Thank you, sir.
And while I do that, for people that haven't heard about your project, can you give us a quick rundown of what you guys are trying to do and what you've built so far? I mean, I know you gave us some bullet points, but let's get into the nuts and bolts of things.
Yeah, for sure. So first, we'll talk about what we're going to do. We're actually pretty deep into building our crowdfunding platform. And it's going to be controlled by a DAO, so it's going to be a decentralized crowdfunding platform, and it's based around causes. So currently we have 5 causes that are selected, but as the platform launches, people will be able to pitch causes and grow those. Those causes will live on, hopefully, without sounding too morbid, well past the fact of us being around here. And causes, let's say, currently we have green technology and carbon capture, let's say. And each one of those causes is going to have its own treasury and its own DAO. So its own section that gets to vote where the treasury gets allocated. And then you'll have projects that go under each one of those causes that will be able to pitch to the cause or to the DAO why they should be the project that should be funded. And everything is through blockchain, so it's completely transparent and people will be able to see. So here, let me just send really quickly. So it's the EarthFund DAO, the decentralized platform for a better tomorrow. And there you get to see like the user interface and what it looks like when people go on and mess with the platform and upload their causes and their projects. Within that, if you look at the image, you can see there's a rating. So everybody that comes in that proposes causes or projects they'll KYC. They'll have to show all of their, who they are, their identity, show where they live and all these things. And once they go through our entire KYC process, they actually get a rating from the DAO, from the community itself, and you can see that little rating on the bottom there. So that's what we're building. And now to show you what we've already built, let me share my screen here so you can see it. Here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So this is what we've currently already built. This is our staking protocol. Very easy. We have a really big focus on making sure that every single thing that we build is very user-friendly and has a user experience first, and then we back it into software. So as you can see, there's instructions on how to stake, very simply put. And once you stake your One Earth tokens, that gives you a governance token, which currently is called the Vote One Earth. So I'm just going to show you, my wallet isn't actually connected here. I did like a little dummy wallet for this so you can see. Once you connect your wallet, you go into the staking protocol. It'll show you how much you can stake. You can click the percentage, or you can actually type it in here, and then you click stake. And as time goes on, you'll see a live update of how much reward you're getting. Currently, the APY is 134%.
Nice.
And there's close to $700,000 in total value locked of One Earth. And then that's the staking side. If you choose to unstake at that point, you can put however much you want to unstake, and then you click unstake and you get it back. Which is one of the portals that we just built. We just launched this version 2 this weekend. We also have a partner portal. I'll show you what this looks like. See, everything's super intuitive and user friendly. So this will be a partner portal, very important for scaling in the future, working with anybody closely, whether they receive One Earth or whatever the case may be. They can connect their wallet. It's also a representation of the team, right? Of how we work on a professional level. And they'll be able to see like their vesting schedule, meaning when their tokens get released, how many are unlocked already, how many are still locked, and all that good fun stuff. And same thing at the bottom, super easy to use navigation. And that's kind of a very high level overview of what the protocol looks like, or the staking and the partner portal looks like.
Certainly. And can you tell us about your pre-sale and private sale? How did those go?
Yeah. So our private sale and pre-sale, that's actually a great question. So we had our private sale, or we call it our seed round sale, and our private sale. And at the time we were looking to raise $800,000, and we raised we had over $1.5 million in inquiries. So we had to go through the tough process of selecting and going through who was actually going to be part of the private sale. Everybody was completely KYC'd. So everybody was doxed 100% within the private sale. And we followed all of the SEC guidelines. We don't believe we're a security, but we still wanted to make sure that we were protected for the future. And after we did all of the SEC guidelines, we did all the KYC and everything, we had our private sale. Then we launched publicly on KuCoin. We had our official launch exclusively on KuCoin. And when we launched, we actually had like a hiccup in the road. There was a technical glitch on KuCoin's side, and they paused trading after 3 hours. And it was an indefinite at the time. And after 3 days, they finally resumed trading. So you can imagine that was, it was tough on the team, but not only tough on the team, it was tough on the trust of the community. Although it had nothing to do with us, although we did everything the way it was supposed to, it was just, it was a challenge to community, and all of that stuff happened. So we decided to rebuild the community after a couple months. And now if you check into our Telegram channel, we have, I think, a little bit over 350 members last time I checked. So we rebuilt the Telegram community. We were all the way up to 160,000 members at some point in Telegram. We decided to rebuild that. We rebuilt Twitter. At some point, we were at over 50,000 followers on Twitter, and now we rebuilt completely, and we're back to like 3,500 from scratch. And now actually we're relaunching Instagram this week as well. So we decided to rebuild everything because we know the importance of community. After that happened, we sat back as a community and as a DAO. And our first, for those that don't know, it's Decentralized Autonomous Organization, which means that the token holders decide what happens in the organization. And they have a vote. They actually are empowered to see what happens and where we move forward. And our first proposal in passing of the DAO was actually to push back the vesting schedule or the unlocked tokens for everybody in the private round. So what happened initially, 10% were unlocked, and the rest were going to begin unlocking in February, which was this month. And everybody, it was a unanimous pass, and we all decided that we were going to push that further back. Mm-hmm. So instead of it being unlocked in February, it got pushed back to November. And instead of it only being a 26-week period, it's going to be closer to 5 years of unlocking time. So wow. Little by little unlock. Yeah. And there's actually even a cooler part to that, where before the system was that as the tokens unlocked, people would receive 1 Earth tokens. And that actually, for everybody that's been in the space and have seen these different projects, like that becomes problematic. Because as people start unlocking their tokens, whether they believe in a project or not, they start dumping, right? Mm-hmm. So actually what we're doing is we're giving the tokens to a third party, a trusted third party. I can actually give you a link to the vote itself so you can verify it. And that trusted third party is going to sell very, very slowly according to volume and very, very small amounts. And everybody that's within the private sale has it's called an LP token. They have their percentage of the company, and they can only pull out USDT from it. So no one person can actually sell 1 Earth. It's actually controlled by the DAO again, though. So the company controls the sales.
Understood. And what are some featured causes you guys have right now? Are there any active?
Yeah, so since the platform isn't live yet, we don't have active, but we do have 5 categories for causes. So we have, off the top of my head, we have inequality, we have green tech, we have carbon capture, we have, oh man, hold on, I'll pulling up the EarthFund down. Let me just show you this.
Yeah, for sure, man. Take your time.
Hold on. So you can actually see, this is our boardroom. So that link I just sent shows you, actually, I'll share my, do you mind if I share my screen and get back to that question?
Yeah, please do.
Cool. Let me get back to this. So you can see why I sent that. Cool. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So this is the home base for everything EarthFund. This is where our DAO meets. And you can see here, this is just like a high level breakdown of how we're decentralizing. So the 4 phases, what it means to be within the DAO, the work streams. So there's product development, community, compliance, and advisors. And then the difference between contributors and guardians. So this is the structure of everything. You can see here our first proposal. You click here. This is what I was telling you about changing the vesting schedule and what it looks like, the proposal itself, why we're doing it, what happened with the KuCoin launch, all of that stuff. You can see the voting, everybody who voted down here. Obviously, it's through their wallets. And then you can also click on the Treasury and see what the total balance of the Treasury is, and like any transfer that goes in and out from the Treasury as well. So everything's completely transparent. As you start going further into it, you'll be able to see the discussions as well. You're going to ask something?
Yeah, sorry. I want you to continue on this flow, because I am getting a better idea just by seeing you go through each step. But in regard to the Treasury, what are the assets within the Treasury?
So currently, as within our tokenomics, we have 1 Earth, an allocation of 1 Earth for our Treasury. So a percentage of all the tokens created, that percentage was within the Treasury. So what you see there is what the Treasury currently holds. Now there's a lockup period and all that stuff, but that's the total that you see.
And what is the Treasury going to be used for in the future?
So what we have, when people, so imagine creating like a portal, let's say for a cause in particular. I'll show you the causes too. We have carbon removal, green tech, social and inequality, ecosystems and conservation, disease and public health. That's the one I forgot. So within these causes, there's going to be sub treasuries as well, right? So those treasuries, people will be able to contribute their Ethereum. They'll be able to contribute any cryptocurrency or debit, or like through debit, any money that they want to go to the treasury of each cause. So that treasury itself is what's going to be funding the projects themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
So each one of those are their own ecosystems. And then the DAO decides, let's say there's $50,000 in the treasury for the carbon removal DAO. And there's two projects, one's for 30,000 and the other one's for 20,000. The DAO can decide if each one of those gets funding, what's the reason. And there's a whole flow chart that I could go through too. And once that gets approved by the DAO, then that project itself gets funded.
Got it. And these projects, are these causes, are you partnering with them? Are you spearheading these causes yourselves? Or
no? So we're just creating the technology and the platform and the awareness for it. These causes will be creating their own communities, and they'll be bringing on people on board, and also creating awareness within each one of these. Now, anyone can create a cause, right? Anybody can go on and create a cause. There'll be a fee associated with the cause, because I can get into that whole structure as well. So let's say somebody just, really wants to do a cause for mental health, let's say. They'll be able to go in there and create a cause for mental health. And then obviously the DAO has to approve that cause. Once the cause gets approved, we know who the person is, their KYC, all of these things happen. Then that cause gets made. There's a sub-treasury that's created for that cause. All of it is transparent through the blockchain. And then under that cause, people will be able to propose projects that want to get funded.
Got it. So, all right. So you have the cause of mental health, and there will be a sub-treasury after the cause gets approved by the DAO, and the person that is behind the cause gets KYC'd and all that good stuff. Then there will be a sub-treasury that participants will donate to, will invest money into.
Yeah. So imagine like, and we're not exactly like it, but imagine like a GoFundMe, right? Mm-hmm. Where someone can contribute towards a cause. This cause in itself can be contributed to with cryptocurrency or fiat. So you can contribute either one, and the treasury will hold that.
Got it.
Now, the reason I say it's not exactly, sorry for cutting off, but the reason I say it's not exactly a GoFundMe is that these causes will live on hopefully way past any of us. Whereas GoFundMe will have a cause that once it's funded, it's done, right? So that would be more like a project within our ecosystem.
Got it. And so is the goal of the sub-treasury of the underlying sub-treasury of the cause to continually donate money or provide money to organizations that are fighting this cause?
Yeah. So I'm going to say a very high level. No. I appreciate the question.
I'm trying to understand where the money is ultimately ending up. Like, how is it helping people that are struggling with mental health, people that are having thoughts of suicide? Like, who is the money going to?
Right. So that's a great question. And that's something that will be decided on by the DAO itself, by the sub DAO. So let's say, you and I have two different causes. Right. And I'm very good at writing a proposal for my cause, and I can show all of my information and where things are going to go. And I get pretty technical. The probability of me getting upvoted to get closer to the top, to get closer to get funded, is a lot higher versus someone who doesn't communicate the message as well, or doesn't have such a good plan or whatever. So in essence, these projects are pitching, let's say, proposing to the cause treasury. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
The interesting mechanism of that is, in order for me to propose a project, there's an upfront fee, and part of that fee goes into KYC, and the other part of that goes into people who participate in voting for the projects. So we're creating rewards for the people who are upvoting and for the people who are creating consensus on each one of these projects. And that reward will be paid out in USDT and a stable coin, and not within One Earth. So it's not going to be an inflationary action.
Got it. Is the token deflationary by nature? Or is it
currently it's, I would say it's neither, right? Because there's no
fixed supply.
Yeah, there's a fixed supply of 1 billion. Currently, there is unlocking for it, but then there's also control for to not cause inflationary issues, right? So there's a sense that it is inflationary, as things will get unlocked over time. So starting in November, there will be unlocking of the team tokens, of the private sale tokens and seed round, but it's going to be a controlled inflation in the sense that there's going to be very minimal sell-offs, and it's not just going to be where everybody receives their batch and they can sell off. Does that make sense? So a lot of these inflationary, deflationary tactics have been taken into consideration to consider the economy of One Earth.
Understood. And is there any sort of a buy-sell tax for the token?
There's actually no buy-sale tax.
Good.
So if you go on Uniswap and you buy on Uniswap or whatever, there's no buy-sale tax. I would encourage most people to go through KuCoin. It's the best way because sending it over to the staking protocol is way cheaper gas fees, and you don't have to worry about that. It's just a smoother transaction too, but there's no buy or sale tax whatsoever.
Got it. And how do you guys prevent one group or entity from having too much voting power in the boardroom, like in order to encourage decentralized voting and dissuade?
That's actually a great question. That's actually a great question, and one that we learned through time of why things kind of work. So, are you familiar with Snapshot?
Yeah.
Okay, so Snapshot. When you create a snapshot to vote with Snapshot, it finds and it's like basically takes a picture of the people that are currently staked within that one token, let's say, right? So let's say you and I create this cause or this project, and it takes the snapshot at that moment. And then after it becomes public, people all of a sudden want to say like, oh, I want to overtake this cause. They wouldn't be able to, because the only people that would be able to vote were the ones that were staked before that was created. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Within that, we've also taken into consideration and read a lot of Vitalik's work on quadratic voting systems and all these things. So there's multiple stops to making sure that people don't overtake the DAO. We're also very much studying all the other DAOs around us because it's a very hot topic, and I've seen a lot of things go sour. So constantly pivoting and trying to adjust to make sure that this is a long project and it's prolonged. As you could see in our first proposal, right? That idea actually came from studying another project that did something similar and actually had really good results with it.
Which one?
I don't feel comfortable saying it just because I don't want to like endorse or whatever, but I will say we study nonstop what DAOs are doing, what other projects are doing, what's going on with their trend lines, why it's happening, what's working for them and what isn't, and try to learn as much as we can from other projects. And that's the best way to do it. Not only that, but I mean, I just came back from ETH Denver too. So we're constantly going to all of these different conferences and meeting people and talking to them to just get as much knowledge as possible.
Definitely. There's quite a bit of literature and quite a bit of research you can do at this point on DAOs and what's worked and what hasn't worked. So I hear you on that. Do you guys have any major partnerships with NGOs, with environmental organizations, anything at all that would get your name out there beyond just the crypto world, beyond just the crypto sphere?
Yes, actually, we are partnered with a design firm, which is, if not the best, one of the best in the world for user interface, and they have a huge reach within the design industry, let's say. But we also verbally solidified a partnership, which to not negatively affect it, I won't mention too much about it. But it's a massive partnership. The person that we're working with and the foundation that we're working with initially, just to give you an idea, has almost triple digits books that they've written and published. They're very, very popular, very, very huge following. But like I said, since we just finalized and we're going to release it, we have a press release coming out very soon. I don't want to jeopardize the relationship by name dropping.
Understood. Utilizing crypto to better the environment or utilizing crypto to fund admirable, sustainable causes is not a new thing. There are a lot of projects that have done this before, and there are a lot of projects that are currently doing it. Do you look at any other projects in the space and consider them to be major competitors? And if not major competitors, are you looking at other projects in the space that are similar to yours and trying to learn from them or kind of do stuff differently or the same to make sure you guys are successful and even distinguish yourselves?
So I would say, as far as what we're creating, it's a first of its kind. I think that we're balancing. We have a really nice balance of the Web 2 and Web 3 world. It's funny. I just read this tweet that said that if Web 3 can really learn of Web 2, that if something doesn't load in 10 seconds, you lost 50% of the people. Yeah. So that's that. In that sense, I don't think there's anybody that's creating to my knowledge, that's creating this type of software that's a DAO controlled crowdfunding platform that's just, even grandmothers can use. And I say that jokingly, but not only jokingly, but truth. And we're making it simple, where we already have a partnership for One Touch Buy, so people will be able to go directly onto the website. And this isn't like in the super far future. This is like very, very soon future. The announcement's going to come out, and people will be able to just go on the website, click a button, and buy directly from their debit card on the website. And then from there, they'll be able to vote for the causes that they want, or even propose a cause or propose a project. So I don't think there's anybody, and I haven't seen anybody that's doing it like we are. And like I said, it's a first of its kind. I do lean a lot on learning from other projects about community building and seeing what they're doing on their Discords and what's working for them and what I like, and just seeing like what the engagement looks like and how they're driving engagement and what their social media platforms look like, and where they're putting their most attention. So I'm constantly researching those things. But it's always good to have friends within the industry. It's always good to learn from each other. It's always good to lean on each other, because we're all kind of pioneers in this space. And we really are creating something that's first of its kind and novel.
Got it. And once you create that lower barrier to entry, like you said, you're trying to make it so that people that aren't even involved in crypto can go onto your website and click a button and donate to a cause or contribute to a cause. That also means that they become part of the DAO. Is that correct? Lost you.
Yeah. So they don't necessarily have to, right? I mean, okay. in a perfect world, most people would be engaging within the DAO and stuff. But if someone just really cares about a cause, and it's something that's close to their heart, and they want to contribute, their crypto or their fiat towards that cause itself, that could be where the user interaction finishes.
And so the sub treasury grows in this case, and then that can be those funds can be allocated to that cause based on the DAO vote. Precisely. And just to give you an idea of the turnaround, the concept is 7 days. So once the treasury gets funded, we have 7 days as a community to either accept or reject the funding for the next projects. So the turnaround time is pretty quick. From the moment that a project comes on to the fact that it gets funded, it could be as quick as 14 days, as 2 weeks. So the idea is to constantly be turning over projects. So people that are actually representing the sub DAO, that are upvoting, they're passing or rejecting, they're getting rewarded on a pretty consistent basis. So that's kind of first of its kind too, because DAOs don't really reward in a not deflationary, but a non-inflationary method that's consistently rewarding people for being part of something that's like this. So. Understood. And is there a reason that you guys chose to launch on Ethereum? Yeah. So looking into it, I have to say that one of the main reasons that we decided to launch on Ethereum was, we believe it's the gold standard for smart contracts. Another reason is that it's a huge, just the market share of Ethereum is gigantic. So if you have the ability to reach that, it's great. I don't remember. I haven't looked up what the market share is currently today, but last I checked, I don't even remember what price it was. You're talking about $500 billion. Not only that, but within the US market, it's a lot easier to get Ethereum than, let's say at the time we were looking at BSC or the other ones. So there were a lot of reasons why we chose Ethereum. I know that people talk about the downside of gas fees. That's another reason too. People that were willing to invest into the project had to do more due diligence. And we felt like the more that people read about the project and what we were doing and spent more time on the site and the white paper, they would actually be really impressed by it. So there was a lot of different reasons why we chose Ethereum. The
question that we get is, if you're trying to make something that's good for the planet, Ethereum is really heavy on, their carbon tax, or their carbon and energy draw from the earth,
right? The whole proof of work,
the proof
argument.
of work, exactly.
Yep.
And the counter to that is, but we decided to launch on KuCoin exclusively, and we were on there for a couple months exclusively. So within the KuCoin ecosystem, you're not using up all that gas, right? You don't have to deal with all that proof of work because it's all internal within the centralized exchange. So there was a balance to that, and there was a lot of thought process behind all of those things.
Well, yeah, certainly. And I agree. If you want to have the widest reach, Ethereum is the move. You look at DeFi Llama, Ethereum has about 4 times or 3 or 4 times more total value locked than every other chain put together. So
yeah, last I read it was like, I'm going to misquote it, but it was like $33 billion or something.
So the total value locked on Ethereum currently, as of now, is 117 billion.
Oh, wow. It went up from the last time I checked, but I don't remember what it was exactly, but that's crazy, right?
Yeah. It is pretty crazy. And so I can understand why projects launch on Ethereum. And it was more of a question to see what your reasons were. And they pretty much were what I thought. It's exposure. Ethereum is really all the actions happening. With that said, now that you've established yourselves and people know who you are and you're continuing to spread, do you have plans on going multi-chain, maybe going to Matic, Avalanche, or even BSC, Solana?
So right now, the laser sharp focus is really making sure that the platform is 100% and everything looks good, and we get it out in a timely manner. So that's not something that's currently on the roadmap, but it's not something that I want to dismiss either.
Certainly,
our team talks about these things all the time, and we're very open. And what's really big in our mind is being future proof, right? So looking at proof of stake on Ethereum and making sure that we're future proof, making sure if we do decide some type of cross chain, what it will look like. It's not that we're not agreeing to it. It's not like we're not thinking of it, but it's not what's currently on our roadmap right now.
It's not a priority, which I certainly understand. And I don't think it should, based on everything you told me, I don't think it should be a main priority. You have other more important things to worry about.
And that's something that we noticed. I mean, going into the space and being in it for a while, that's something that we noticed, that a lot of projects, like, they'll spread themselves so thin, and you have to know what type of resources you have, and you have to put it to that one thing. And that's something that we're really focused on,
Yeah, of course. What are some major marketing strategies that you guys are using to get your name out there, not just within the crypto world, but in the traditional world as well?
So I just shared right now is some of the features that we've been on. It's Cointelegraph, Yahoo News, Blockcast, New York Weekly, CEO Weekly, and Asia One. Those are some of the places that we've been in. Within Cointelegraph, we've already had 3 articles published. We have 3 different partnerships. And what we're going to do very soon, without giving too much away, we're asking those very large partners to release the press releases instead of it coming from us. So let's say like large partner number 1, if it comes from EarthFund, that's great. But if it comes from that large partner and they're releasing a press release, the probability of that being news is a lot higher. So we have them releasing, these 3 different partners, them releasing these press releases to get a lot more attention towards it. Besides that, I spoke in a panel recently here in Miami at an event called BattleFin, which is like a alternative data conference. So a lot of institutional investors, a lot of people within the fintech space, and all these great things. So I was on a panel for decentralized autonomous organizations. Besides that, I did travel to ETH Denver and, literally bounced everywhere and just met as many people as I could. We're going to be, here, let me show you this next thing. We're going to be, our promo video is actually going to be premiering at the World Blockchain Summit in Dubai. And then I don't have a picture of it, but for Bitcoin 2022 in Miami, which is actually where I am. I'm in Coral Gables, if anybody's in Miami.
Oh, good night.
Yeah. So in Bitcoin Miami, we have an after party in one of the places here, which we're going to be inviting, large influencers and all that stuff. We also have a banner that's going to be flying with an airplane. Oh, an airplane banner that's going to be flying. It's a 40 by 90 foot banner, I believe, that's going to be flying all around the Bitcoin Miami, and I'm sure there's also going to be other digital billboards and stuff as well. And then in May, I can't talk too many details about it, but let's just say there may be a metaverse event with EarthFund involved. It's still at high level, but that's something that we're looking forward to in May. So we're looking for the next 3 months to have an event every single month, a pretty large scale event that has a lot to do with cryptocurrency. And then those 3 releases, 2 of the 3 that will be released will also be going to a hybrid of crypto to non-crypto crowd. And yeah, those are some of the stuff that we have in the wire.
That's really cool, man. And what I tell any crypto project that I talk to regarding lowering the barrier to entry for people that aren't into crypto right now, is you guys are doing the whole space a favor. I mean, you're building something for a great cause, and that first and foremost is the most important thing. But I do believe that lowering the barrier to entry through your protocol, through your project, will also allow people that otherwise wouldn't get involved in the crypto to maybe dabble in other aspects of the space as well. And in the end, the more projects that do something like this, the more we grow as a crypto community. And I think that's really important as well. So kudos to you guys. I think that's awesome.
Thank you, sir. I think it's important to bring into mass adoption and lowering the barrier to entry, like you were saying. It's just showing like a level of professionalism too. I mean, I came in this to also have fun, like I'm not going to lie, like crypto is just really fun for me. But also it's like, if you say, hey, we're going to release this date, like you better release that date, like that's what people in the real world expect. Like crypto should not be any different. If we're going to have mass adoption, like we better teach it, treat it like a really well-oiled machine, right?
Certainly. Yeah. Wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Quickly, give us a breakdown of your team. How many developers do you have working on this? How many people in marketing and business development?
Sure. So I'll show you. So just to kind of give like a super high level, these are some of the companies that our team has worked with, worked on different projects with, or worked directly with that team itself. We currently have a team of about 50 doxed all-stars, give or take.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you can go on our website and see, I think it's like, you could see like 20 of them, but all of them are they have no problem doxing themselves. And we have our work streams, like I showed. We have 5 different work streams, and for product and development, we actually are working with in-house as also outsourcing to people as far as like full stack, not full stack, I'm sorry, front end development's concerned, back end development, and blockchain development, to just make sure that we get everything done in a pretty timely fashion.
Awesome. What kind of work did you guys do with Blizzard Entertainment?
That's a great question, man. I think I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but I think that our front end developer worked with them, but I would have to lean on the team and ask them. Cool. But we have like Red Bull is the ex CEO of Red Bull for North America is one of the advisors on our team. Microsoft and Facebook is a front end developer. He actually worked on some of the Meta project as well. Ripple, I think it's within our copywriting team. And just, things like that. Some of them, I don't know exactly who it is since our team is pretty vast. But we just kind of went around and like, hand selected some of these people for their talents. And it's an all-star team, man, I have to say.
I got you. Yeah. 50 people it's a big team.
Yeah. I mean, the coolest part for me is that most of us are remote. I mean, me and Adam is really like the architect behind the team itself. And someone that I lean on tremendously. Adam just started picking the best of the best from around the world. So him and I are here in Miami, but everybody else, like we have people in, Greece, we have people in Dubai, we have people in the UK, people in Canada, people in Africa and India, and, just all around the world. It's awesome.
Well, yeah, we have the same sort of breakdown at Whale Coin Talk, and I think that's what's really awesome about crypto is we have these global teams now, people from all over the world, and I'm really enjoying it. And it sounds like you are as well.
I love it, man. I love every moment of it, you know, and pretty often, like we talk about not only, I mean, there's three things that I think are really important within community that provide value for community, and it's or for any project, any token or NFT or whatever the case may be. It's fun, utility, and community. And if you have those three, like your project is solid. So this has to be fun for us, right? It has to be fun for everybody involved, because if not, why would people do it? People, I believe people came away from banks and people came away from all these centralized institutions because it just didn't make sense. It wasn't fun anymore, you know?
Certainly, the paradigm is shifting, and we're at the forefront of it. I wholeheartedly agree with you there. Are you guys audited? I'm going to assume yes, but
my question is how many times? So we for our ERC20 contract, we had 2 audits done, just to be safe, right? I mean, that's the backbone of everything. We had a vesting schedule for a private sale round, and that was audited. But that's that was voted out by the DAO, and now we have the new one, like I had mentioned, and then our staking protocol has been audited as well. So we're very much a measure twice, cut once community or team. We want to make sure that when people are interacting with whatever we're making, we had another pair of eyes on it that makes sure that it's doing what it was supposed to do. So we make sure every single time that we release anything blockchain that it's being audited for sure.
Got it. And people that want to donate donate to sub treasuries or even the main treasury, do they have to use a specific token like Ethereum, or can they do it with a wide array of cryptocurrencies?
No, it's going to be a wide array of currencies, and like I said, we're also going to be accepting fiat, so debit cards and credit cards as well.
Very cool. How far down the line do you see that being?
Well, we're the goal is the summer, and everything's in line for the summer. And we really much give ourselves buffer space too, but summer is going to be when things go live. There may be other things coming up before then, but I'd rather not mention until we get closer to the release date.
Of course, no worries. And as far as earning NFTs in the future, what's that going to look like for you guys?
Same thing as the cross-chain thing. It's not currently in the roadmap, but things are coming, Things are coming. Okay, it's funny, man, because I mean, I'm sure you hear it all the time. Like, people are very much hype within the crypto world. And for me, as much as I want to release information, I have to hold back a lot of it, because we don't want to be hype. We want to be truthful. We want to be saying what's actually happening and what's already been signed and delivered, just so we keep growing closely to our community,
Yeah, it goes back to what you said earlier. You want to be able to say something is coming out on a certain date and actually have it come out on that date. I've seen a lot of projects myself crippled by delays and tardiness, and just the team not being, I don't want to say being disingenuous, but just biting off more than they can chew. So
yeah, that's the best phrase to say, man. I mean, to everybody, to be fair to everybody, and to not beat any other project up or anything, because I mean, we learn from all these projects, from everybody, right? There's always going to be some glitches, in anything that you work on. We're just really making sure that we're very careful about those glitches. Like, if anything happens, we make sure that that's resolved before launch. And secondly to that, there's this internal fight with everything dealing software, and not within our I don't mean a fight within our team, but just people want to release things when they're perfect. And that's just not the way technology works, You have to release it lean and make sure it's working well and everything. And then as time goes on, things get better,
Agreed.
It's just the way it works.
Yep, I definitely agree with you there. That leads me to my next question. You seem like you've worked on a number of different projects. What are some painful learning lessons that you have taken from prior ventures that you've been on and are applying this one to make sure that it goes as smoothly, as successfully as possible?
I think the one, I was working on a project that I won't mention, just out of respect for everybody too. That it's just, if you say you're going to be somewhere at 4 p.m., if you say you're going to have an AMA at 4 p.m., be there. Things like that, like super simple things that like it took me. It wasn't me doing it, but I was seeing it through other projects, and I was just like, this is not. I would never attach my name to something that, you say something, it just doesn't, it's just pretend like it didn't happen, Other things that I've learned from projects, the auditing is a big thing too. Just make sure everything you release is audited and it looks well. A lot of the things that I learned haven't been from projects that I've been dealing with particularly, but just things that I see within the industry. Something else is like, how far do influencers really go if they're not living your brand? Like you see a lot of other projects will just hire an influencer because they have a huge following and they have access. Like that's not, you want an influencer that lives and breathes what you're doing and believes in your mission, and sees your vision. That's who you want to be on your side, and that's valuable. You don't want someone that's reading off a sheet of paper and doesn't have passion. Another thing that I've learned also, there was one more that I was going to say. Stop chasing shiny objects. Focus, like in this world, there's so many new exciting things, and the consumer within the crypto world wants the newest and trending and whatever. But if you have an idea that works and you have a focus that's going to be something that's massive, just work on that one thing. And once you're done with that thing, like once your resources can finish what they need to, the bulk of it anyways, then you can start pivoting into other playful areas. But just make sure you stay focused on the mission.
Love it. Love it. Love it. A few more questions before we open up the floor to community. One is, how are community members able to join the admissions team? Like how many members is the admissions team made up of? And give us a bit of more information about that.
So what I would say is anybody that's interested, first jump into our Discord at discord.gg EarthFund. I'll drop the links, and also into the Telegram. And right now it's just a matter of building community, rebuilding community, I should say. If you pop into there, all that information is going to be available. It's currently not it's not something that you can see and read. But we want to have a really good idea of how many people are involved within this true community. So I came prior to launch, and that was the mission. And then this is the mission still. Let's build this community. Let's make sure that, within these DAOs, or within these sub DAOs, I should say, that people are actually involved within them, and we get this engagement. And that right now is everything. I'm actually dropping the Telegram link here. I can't chew both of them and and walk at the same time. But yeah, so like that's our main prerogative right now. And our main mission is to make sure that we get people coming into our current communities so that we can then start saying, okay, how many people are interested within this DAO? How many people are going to go into this? And then they start sectioning off, because it's going to be a natural community. And pretty soon we're going to start breaking those off into those groups so that they can start living within their own ecosystems with people that are passionate about those areas in particular. So I know it's a super vague answer, but that's just what we're doing right now. We're just building into that main base 1,000 people that are just everything EarthFund. And then from there, we can start building 1,000 that are interested in carbon capture, 1,000 that are interested in mental health, 1,000 that are interested in each one of these. And once you have that solid 1,000, then you have, your project is set forever.
Got it. Certainly. And Alex, is there anything that I haven't asked that you are keen on talking about? I make a list of questions before the AMA, and I try my best to cover everything within the hour time slot while also giving community members time to ask questions. But is there anything that you want to tell us that we haven't heard, and kind of sum up and leave us with before we move on?
I'll drop one thing in here, that our new website's dropping sometime next month. the thing that I really want to talk about that I get asked all the time is this is not a charity token. So that's just something that I feel like I always have to clear up just to make sure. This is a for-profit DAO. This is a for-profit decentralized autonomous organization, a for-profit platform. And there is a platform fee as people get their projects funded. There is a platform fee that goes back into the EarthFund itself. And this is to, make sure that the fund is viable, to make sure that this is a business that's well funded. And that's the whole purpose of it, right? The thing that we did see is, like, again, to talk kind of about GoFundMe. GoFundMe has a very high platform fee. We're able to do something like this at a much lower rate because we are leveraging blockchain, but we want to make sure that anybody that wants to become a potential One Earth holder or is interested in is understanding that the whole point of this is for our company, our business, our organization, our DAO to be making money, right? Like, we don't think that it has to be an egregious number, but we do want to be producing money so that people keep gaining value within the token.
Understood. And this is how you guys generate revenue, and that revenue is being pumped back into the ecosystem, whether it's going to the Treasury or whether it's going to stakers. Am I correct in understanding that?
Yeah, so the Treasury, which could also improve, which improves the platform itself, that makes sure that there's a whole structure behind all of these things, and then also within the people that are participating and voting and upvoting and vetting and that entire process. So those people get rewarded with USDT, like I had mentioned. We make sure that the token is increasing in value because there's an actual company structure behind it that's a for-profit business model. And also we're updating our technology because everybody knows once you build technology, you have to keep updating it and pivoting to make sure that it's at its best.
Got it. All right. Well, I'm going to move on here to some community questions. I see a hand up already. Said Rahmat, go for it, man.
Yeah, thank you, Noah. Thank you, Noah. First of all, I really want to appreciate you guys. You guys are working on really great incentives. So my question is, you mentioned about these 5 communities around 5 causes that will help EarthFund make an impact. So I want to know that, so after buying and staking One Earth tokens, do investors have to select one community out of these 5 to be able to participate in voting and other decision-making processes, or investor can join all the communities and vote in all these 5 causes communities?
That's a great question. Thank you. So the way it works is the vote One Earth is, let's call it the mothership token, right? That's the one that's going to govern everything. So if we want to create a new cause, that's what we'll vote on that. If there's a direction that the company may have to pivot or turn to, or like we did with our tokens or our vesting schedule, if we have to push it back, that's where the vote One Earth comes in. But you can also choose to be in any cause that you want. So if you want to be in all 5, you can be in all 5 causes, or 6, or however many, come to fruition. It just, what you will be doing is diluting your vote. So you want to keep that in mind. So there's a healthy balance between being in the ecosystem that you want to be, and also making sure that you have a little bit more power within that ecosystem as well.
Okay, got it. So these communities will be on Telegram or any other platform?
Yeah, so the communities will, there's discussion around that. It probably, everything is going to be on the website, but we will have a cause section on Discord that talks about, what's going on within each one of those communities as well.
Okay, got it. So what minimum amount of tokens one need to buy and stake in order to participate in EarthFund DAO?
One Earth. I mean, remember, there's always gas fees, but you can stake as little as one Earth and be able to participate.
Okay, got it. So few more questions. So let's suppose will you guys keep a tag on this project or see their progress that it's really is working on cause that it pitched?
I caught some of that and you cut out. And I think the question was, like, if a project's working, will we keep tabs on what's going on within that project? Okay, absolutely. Go for it again, please.
Can you hear me clearly now?
I hear it now, yes.
Okay. So I was asking. So let's suppose DAO has voted to fund a certain project. I want to know that will you guys keep a tag on this project or the progress of this project, that it is really working for the cause as this project pitched?
That's a great question, and that's actually part of the process of the DAO voting to upvote you and pass you, right? Like, what measurable results can you display once your project is done? So that's something that, as the time comes to vote, that people will decide. Hey, they said that they're going to do X, Y, and Z, but they're not going to show what type of result they're going to get afterwards. Should I vote for this project? And again, that's up to the DAO. But the best projects, we're going to give an idea of what the ideal project looks like, right? And you'll be able to fill out within the platform itself. It's going to have like spacers of where everything goes. So it's very easy and very intuitive to do. But the perfect project would also show where did these funds go? What results are we going to yield? And they're going to continue to give updates as time goes by. So that would be their commitment to the DAO. And that's where the DAO would decide to upvote them or not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Got it. So just to be clear, will you only fund the projects related to crypto or outside the crypto projects will also be funded for different causes?
No, so the whatever cause, like as long as there's a cause for it, any project can say it. So that it's not exclusive to crypto, which I have seen other platforms that do, like, as a means to grow funding for this crypto project. No, this is like, I'm going to give an off the cuff example, but if someone has a project that wants to clean microplastics out of the ocean, then let's fund it. If they want to create artificial intelligence to help with suicide prevention, and that's what the DAO wants to fund, let's fund it. It doesn't have to be inside of the crypto space. We're just leveraging crypto because there's no borders to crypto, right? So if someone has a really, really amazing idea as an engineer in Nigeria, they should have funding, right? And if they have the ability to show what they're going to do and how they're going to improve the world, why should they not have funding? And that's one of the limitations of GoFundMe.
Okay, got it. So one more final question. So I want to know that do you guys have any plan of developing academy or a platform to educate investors and users in crypto space about environmental issues and how to save a planet, and maybe offer online educational courses to create awareness about saving our planet?
Yeah, so the education that we're going to work on initially is more so onboarding and working with the platform itself. As once that's finalized, as you can, that's going to be a lot to do, and I look forward to that tremendously. Once that's done, then we'll start venturing into different places of what to educate on. And those are things that the causes themselves and the main DAO can also vote and decide on as well. But we do want to create an entire video series of onboarding process for causes, for projects, what the ideal projects and cause proposals look like, and all of those things, so that we have a standardized system.
That's really amazing. That's really amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the questions.
Venice, you're next.
Yeah, thanks so much, Noah. Actually, I read your white paper and your website. I read you have plans for addressing mass inequality problems of the world and to make the world a better place. I want to know that do you have any plan to capture the evidences if there is any inequality happening around the world, or the other common problems to show the world, to raise the voices of oppressed? There are many occupied places in the world where people are oppressed, like in Indian occupied Kashmir, Palestine, and many more places where people are being oppressed, and there are a lot of problems. So what's your thought on these kind of issues to raise the voices of oppressed and to show the world the real faces of countries?
So that's a great question. We want to make sure that we are decentralized, right? And so I think that not so much does it fall on us to make people aware of these situations, but more so we want to build a technology so if people feel like there is some type of oppression or there is some type of issue, they can come into the platform and discuss it and get funding for their project, if that makes sense. So we walk this tight line where we don't want to have bias towards a certain sub-DAO. right? There's 5 different DAOs. Not everybody's going to agree with one in particular, but at least there's an ecosystem and space for everyone. So, especially as like, let's say the face and the moderator, marketer, whatever, marketer, community manager, communications lead. I don't want to say, inequality is going to be the one we focus on, or carbon capture or green technology. I want to remove myself from that and say, we're building this technology so that people like you that are interested in people in particular have the ability to create a powerful movement if they have the idea on how to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's clear, and thank you so much.
For sure. And I highly encourage that anybody that proposes a project to put all of that information out there. And you have to keep in mind, you're trying to sway the opinion of the sub DAO participants. So you really have to give them this information. You have to let them know why this is an important project. So there has to be a value proposition pitch as well within this. And this is one of the beautiful things about this project that really draws in community, because now people start bringing in their own community and say, hey, you guys care about this mission, like come onto this platform and use it. So it's one of the nice things about the platform.
Yeah, and that's really great to hear. You guys have a lot of great features on your platform, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Great. And last question of the AMA is Sarah Nelson.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I hope you can hear me.
Yes,
Hello,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I hear you.
Okay, thank you. I took my time to listen to your presentation when you were giving your presentation about the projects, and most of the question I even intend to ask has been clarified, and you gave a very good explanation to us that, truthfully, I'll tell you that I'm highly impressed. I just want to ask you a question based on your stability. I want to know how you intend to maintain stability, considering the fact that in the crypto space, there are lots of other competitors, and one needs to be smarter and faster than usual. So what is your team doing to maintain stability while you are trying to strike a balance between getting a long-term investors and at the same time protecting your community from possible threats? It's my question,
Thank you.
Clay.
Thank you for the feedback too. I think so. There's this misconception that that projects don't want day traders, right? Volume is great. I mean, people seeing high volume is actually a really good thing. So you do want people buying and selling your token pretty quickly. You do want a stable floor of holders, absolutely. And I talked about the 1,000, and you want your stable 1,000 for sure. That's the mainframe for success, right? Even in traditional business. I think that I had slightly touched on it. The 3 important things within any project are fun, utility, and community. And utility. So if you have community and you have utility, but you don't have fun, your project's not going to be very valuable, right? It's not going to go many places. If you have fun and community, but you don't have utility, there's not going to be a long-term value. So building out this platform and making sure that everything looks the way it's supposed to, making sure it works well, making sure that we're getting a good amount of traffic that's using and interacting with the One Earth platform and the EarthFund platform is huge for long-term stability. And we've seen it within the bear and bull cycles. The projects that have utility, the projects that have the ability to create are the ones that succeed over time. So at some point we may go into a deep bear market, but as long as we're creating this utility for the community, does it really matter? So that's one of the things that we've really been focusing on, is creating a long-term utility, making sure that what we're doing has a practical place in the world and there's a necessity for it in the world. And I strongly believe that's the case. Building the community is everything, man. I mean, you go into Whale Coin Talk's business model, they're doing so well because there's a lot of people that follow the community. So community is everything. And then you go even further into fun. Like, we have to enjoy this stuff. And every day that I come in, I have a smile on my face and I'm very happy. And our community does have fun and we enjoy ourselves. With that being said, there has to be structure too. You want to make sure that you have community guidelines where people are respectful, where people aren't coming in and bashing the project just to bash it, where you allow a safe space. I don't really like that term, but you allow a safe space for people to express themselves when they're angry or they're happy or they're upset or whatever the case may be. So with those three things, and including structure, when they come together, then you have stability in a project. And we've seen it. It's part of the reason why Ethereum is so successful, right? We talked about, I think it was 119 billion or 100 something billion dollars that are total value locked. Why? Because we see it as a world that there is utility within the token, or within the coin. I'm sorry, there is a community of people that are diehard Ethereum fans. And it's super fun because you can get into NFTs and you can get into these silly projects and artwork and create whatever you want. And I mean, that's the reason why Ethereum has had so much success, right? That's the reason Bitcoin and all these other large projects have had success, because people attach themselves to them because they have fun doing it. And there's a community behind it. So I hope that answered your question.
Thank you very much. You spoke well. I feel very confident enough to invest in your project. Truthfully, you have a very good project. Good luck.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, Alex, you're a very good speaker, and I can tell that you grew up in a family that was all on radio. And I agree. I think that I tell this to projects all the time. You first and foremost need to build a good product, robust code, as bug free as you can get in the beginning, and hopefully over time you remove all bugs, whatever that looks like. But I think it's almost equally important to have a strong community, and people that are happy to participate in your ecosystem, an ecosystem that hopefully provides value. Ethereum is a great example. I think that the success of Ethereum is a testament to not just the tech that they've built, the blockchain and everything that goes into the ecosystem, but also the founder, Vitalik, and the people that are around him and the community that they've built. And the same can be said for any crypto project, whether it's Terra or AVAX, Solana, or EarthFund. And it sounds like you guys are building just that. First and foremost, a healthy ecosystem that is trying to solve some of Earth's biggest causes, whatever those might be. And you guys also have a really great community and really great spokesperson behind the project. So I want to thank you again for being with us today. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I really enjoyed hearing about your project. And I know this is your second AMA with us. I'm looking forward to your third AMA with us, whether that's 6 months down the line or a year or 2 years down the line. I think you guys are one of those projects that, regardless of whether we go into a bear or we just go sideways or go bull in the next couple months, you guys are going to be around. And I think that's really important. Those are the projects that really survive and thrive in the long term.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. And I appreciate you for hosting. And I'm glad to be here for the second time. And I look forward to the third AMA for sure.
Cheers, man. Take care.
I'm going to, before I go, or as I'm leaving, I'm going to drop the Telegram channel. Anybody that's listening, please join our community, bring some positive vibes. Talk about what you experienced today on the AMA. We'd love to have you over, and I really appreciate everyone in the Whale Coin Talk community. Thank you so much.